Hello, it's your favorite uncle with my beard. Thank you once again for catching the hashtag replay. And yeah, as you can clearly see by the title, we have a mommy interview in honor of Mother's Day. That was this Sunday, so happy belated Mother's Day. And I really wanted to get a mother on this week so we can have this awesome and amazing conversation. And so you guys have seen the flyer. You know this is a cousin of mine's. I love her dearly. And we about to have a good old time in the Lord. So before we begin, y'all drop in the comment section where are you from, city, state, country, because you guys know I have a lot of international people on my page. Going to school to be a Spanish teacher kind of does that indirectly. So I am excited about this. So yes, drop where you're from, city and state. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling. Say hello, engage with us, ask questions, especially when my guest is on here. Ask questions. Let me message her and let her know. Okay. Okay. Did you get my link, Serene? Did you? Oh, there we go. Let me invite Serene again. So yeah, just waiting for the prophetess to come on here, but yes. I just resent it. I just resent the link. Y'all know y'all Facebook needs to be seamless. It wants to be seamless, but sometimes it swings and it misses. Swings and it misses. Here we go. Here she comes. Says adding. I need to shake my head. There she goes. Her pretty hair. I love it. Hey.
I tried to do it in my laptop, but apparently it won't let me be great.
It won't let. Sometimes laptops just. I trust I know won't let you be great.
No,
Sort of like your kids.
uh,
You had those moments where you're like, y'all just won't let me be great, won't y'all?
no, it won't. That's okay. And thank you for the comment. I do like my two twist
Oh,
hair.
thank you. I love it. I love your hair like that. I we need more headshots with your hair like that.
Okay. All right.
Yes, yes. We need the fro. We need the curls.
I'll tell my daughter to take more pictures when she come home.
Absolutely. Who's the photographer? Princess?
Hmm.
I didn't know Princess was a photographer. I know she did what is engineering. I know she was an engineer.
But she'll take a picture or three for me if I ask her. You
I
know what I mean?
like that.
She won't.
Yeah,
She's not like. But I get her or Mariana, one of her friends, to do it. That'll do. That'll. Yeah.
absolutely. So, you guys, this is Serene Nunez.
Hi.
Serene Nunez is a faith-based certified financial coach. She has helped me and she has helped hundreds and thousands, if not millions, with her faith-based financial coach situation because like Serene says, I'm not going to tell you her motto, which I put on the flyer, but what I will tell you is she realizes one thing and one thing only that I had to get delivered from is that Christians have this fear of talking about money.
Yes.
Like I'm
Yes.
talking about this deep-seated fear that if you bring it up, it's like you about to go to hell if you bring up finances.
No.
But without further delay, I'm gonna let her introduce herself before we start.
Hey, everybody, and thank you for watching Josh's broadcast, and thank you for watching the rebroadcast. I am Serene, and my official new title is I am a faith-based financial breakthrough coach and wealth strategist. And what I do is I help God's people who have breakthrough in three wealth zones within their spirit, soul, and money, and to help them start walking in the financial that God has ordained for your life. Because my motto is everything that affects your money isn't about money. And Josh can attest to that. Um,
Josh can attest to that, especially during this fast. When I caught myself, I'm like, wait, hold up. Like once you're aware of it, you can check it. Like I was like, Josh, you're just randomly spending money on food, nonetheless, but you're randomly spending money. Stop spending money. You don't need this. You got food at the house.
yeah, and all of
Well,
us
hi, Jojo.
point. It's not just me, it's not just food, and it's not just me. We all struggle with overspending and excess, and that is because we live in an excess world. And while the kingdom of excess is about abundance, which just a distinct two differences. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about motherhood. Oh,
Yes, y'all. So I broke this interview up into 5 parts because not only do I want to get motherhood, on here, I couldn't pass up the opportunity of not interviewing a faith-based certified financial coach, especially with the fact that she does have kids and does show her kids all what she has learned so they don't make the same mistakes that their forefathers and foremothers did when it comes to money.
yes, because I have 5 children, and they are in like my two oldest knew me pre-Christ, before Christ. Uh, my 3 youngest learned, like they watch me transform the most, and the money habits that I learned now, I've given to them.
Absolutely. And one thing about that, I'm glad Serena's on here, y'all, is that Serene has children across the gambit. She has teenagers to grown folk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't realize she was still raising kids till she posted her daughter. I was like, wait, you still raising children? What is this? How, like, I said, man, how old are you? You
My,
still raising kids?
my youngest 16.
Oh, and the oldest?
The oldest is 32. 30. Sorry.
He's like, I'm 33. I heard it. I was like, I'm 33, mom. So yeah, so she's still raising children, you guys. On top of Serena, if you don't mind me asking, you have grandkids, correct? Is that right?
I am a nana.
So she is a nana and is still an active, like have to make sure this her youngest gets up,
Yep.
gets dressed, goes to school,
Yeah.
participates in extracurriculars.
Yes. Yes. The whole gambit. I still do all that. That's why I'm not a grandma and I'm a nana.
Yes. And so without further delay, y'all, we are going to get started. These are some things I always wanted to know, especially with a parent to adult kids, because it's different when they're in your house as opposed to when they're out. So first question, how did you navigate the transition from being a hands-on parent to supporting your adult children's independence?
Well, I learned early on. Hold on. Okay. So I apologize for the background noise. I have people still moving around, getting in and out. So how did I navigate that? Well, in the beginning, I gave my children a lot of freedom. See, he and I gave them a lot of freedom. Too much.
They in the back co-side are like, yeah, we got too much freedom.
They were allowed to do it, but they didn't do a lot because it was. Do you see what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. So I gave my children a lot of freedom because I believed early on in their lives I raised them right, and they would have to make their own decisions. So that's how I navigated their independence. I started giving them a lot more freedom.
Absolutely. So with that, just like your son said in the background, I love it. He said, we had independence, but that doesn't necessarily mean we wanted to take it because because it's coming off just from how he's talking with you that he respected you enough to be like, okay, I don't want to abuse this. So although I'm grown, my mom could be like, oh, remember, you grown. You go do you grown, remember? You don't need So I do love that about you. So was that um was that what you did giving them that independence? Was it a hard task or was
No,
it something? Oh, okay.
because I had it.
Oh, so you're giving them something that you did
Mhm.
have, which was a lot of independence because I didn't get that as a
The
when I got grown.
difference between them and me was the fact that my mother uh, just kind of, I don't want to say checked out of life. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
But
my mama did it.
she just wasn't around. So she was around, but she wasn't present. I'll say that.
Hmm.
And I, not to take away from my mother not being a good parent, but it's just that I had to learn how to navigate life in my teenage years by myself because she was finally coming to grips with her own issues. So
Understood.
I had to learn how to navigate. I had to learn how to be independent. I was walking to school by myself in 3rd grade. You know what I'm saying? So
And that was
independence,
uncommon back in your day.
that was real common for us to walk to school by ourselves. So it was easy for me to be like, you know what, listen, I believe I raised you well. And you got to remember, I also had extended family. I had aunts, I had
Hmm.
aunts, uncles, cousins. You know, I wasn't by myself doing this. I had family around. So it was easy for me to navigate them and say, hey, I'm going to give you this freedom. And, but you're going to have to uh, be responsible for the consequences of said freedom.
Absolutely.
And I believe I raised them well enough to be, you know, responsible enough to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, but I'm really not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to their friends whose parents were helicopter parents and they just snuck around and did everything.
They know they didn't have to do that though.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You gave them that freedom to the point where you raised them to that extent where it's like, yes, you guys are about to be grown. You're slowly turning from 17 to 18, 18 to 19. You guys have this freedom, but you pretty sure at that. I hope at that point you taught them the word where it says all things are lawful but not expedient. Just because you can have the
Don't mean you.
freedom doesn't mean you should.
Right.
And so
That,
that's actually a really good thing to teach because I know once I became 18, I still was living with my sister, so I still had a curfew, which I didn't mind. There were still things because there were rules, and there was still this like, yes, Josh, you grown, but you're not grown. You're 18. There's a difference.
right. And when when the second set, so I have Prince and Prince and Princess are not twins; they're a year apart. And you also have to understand they were buddies. Like, so the two oldest were buddies. Prince and Princess are buddies, right? So they never they one of the things that was mandatory, that they weren't allowed to go anywhere without each other. Like, they knew they had to be responsible for each other.
Oh, wow, you should have had 6 kids then.
Well, unfortunately, now I have to push Sienna out on her own.
That's what should have just had 6. I ain't stop. You told that I ain't stop until there's another one. So
No.
at least give me the other one so they can have a buddy. Because my
And
grandmother did that. She believed in that. That's an old school way
I,
of thinking.
yeah, they were buddies. So the older two, Rajana and Terrell, the older ones, they were they did everything together, even though they were polar opposites, but they knew what each one was, right? If I wanted to know what one was, there was one. And as they got older, the buddy system kind of faded out, but they still have that responsibility. Same thing with Prince and Princess. When they were about 16, 17, they were allowed to catch the train to go to school, the bus to go to school, because they went to private school. So they had to catch the train to the bus stop, and the bus would pick them up. And that's how that's how they navigated their independence. And then they couldn't do anything without each other. Like, one had to know what one was doing, and they had to be responsible for each other. So even when they rode the bus home, even though Princess had her friends and Prince had his friends, they still knew, like, they always made a plan, like, okay, mom, we after school, we're going to go to the burrito spot
That sounds
or
good.
Ben's house. Like, they went together. They did not go in their separate directions. And sometimes they did, but they were responsible for each other. Like, hey, mom, I'd be like, well, I called one, which your sister? Oh, she over so-and-so house. I was like, okay. And then I call her and be like, when you coming home, blah, 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 kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Having a young one with no sibling
You can still
reinforcement,
do it.
I can still do it, but
No, I mean you can still bring on another sibling for them.
no, I ain't bringing no sibling on for Sienna. You know, I own poor child, but never. Um,
You bring another one on. You got it. You.
so with Sienna, it's different now. But she has 4 older siblings to help her navigate the world. So, like, this summer, she's got her first summer job, but the summer job is like 2 miles from my house. So we're going to incorporate teaching her how to ride. She has to learn how to ride public transportation. She can't rely on me. She needs to know how to get around.
That's true, especially in the city that you guys live in, Serene, because you live in like a big metropolitan city. So that's something that she does need to learn.
She needs to
Now, I can.
right, because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, because lot of my kids, a lot of my children's friends were sheltered, and they didn't know how to catch the train. They didn't know how to catch the bus. It would be my siblings, my children, that would tell them, hey, this is the train we catch. This is how we get where we got to go. So now it's time for her to learn that. So she'll be catching the bus. Like, I'll drop her off at work, but I'm going to make her catch the bus home every day. and I meet her at the bus stop. And then there'll be days I won't meet her, and she just have to learn to walk in.
That's good. I'm proud of you. Coming from a small town, we learned public transportation out of the blue. Like it wasn't something our parents taught us. It was just you. You want to learn the bus, you Google the bus schedule, you see where it stops at, and you just show up there like 10, 15 minutes early and just make sure you have the right change. And
And she has to learn how to, she's going to learn even for herself because she has to learn how to navigate outside.
yeah, she does.
That's the dynamic.
Yes, absolutely. So another question I have is, what have what have been some of the most rewarding aspects of seeing your children grow into adulthood, and how has that like affected their relationship?
The most rewarding things is them getting out on their own. Whew.
Do you feel a shondo in your bones?
Say that again.
Do you feel a shondo in your bones? He was like, "Ooh."
Yeah. Them getting out on their own was probably the most rewarding experience because it meant that they were official adults and they didn't have to rely on me to navigate life. Like they were ready to leave the nest. The downside is that sometimes they come back.
Oh, they will come back.
They will. But they come back now. They leave again. They gotta stay gone. There's no coming back.
Oh, so I would just say forever for all that.
No, this time it's forever. They can come back.
No, no, I'm talking about like the moment you say, "Hey, that you only get one shot," you come back in. Once you leave, you gotta stay gone.
Yeah,
I'ma just stay with you forever. Like, okay, mom, then that means I'm not going nowhere. Thank you.
gotta go.
I was like, thank you, Bob. I appreciate you extending this offer for me staying with you forever. Because I
Yeah.
remember living in Latin America when I lived in Costa Rica. And I saw like it was common to see three generations, four generations. Like I saw the mom, I saw the son, the eldest son, the eldest daughter, his kids, and I was just like, "Is this?" Because I asked, I said, "This is kind of common where we're from, especially in my culture." But I was like, "Is this common here?" She was like, "Absolutely. Why do you think we got this big old giant house? I wanted all my kids living with me, no matter." She's like,
I wouldn't mind that so much. I would like or that compound life.
"Yeah, that's pretty much it." She's like, "Yeah, my God."
I saw a little. I forget who it was. Some rapper. He bought like all this acres of land, and he built each of his kids a 2-bedroom house on the land. They had their own driveway and they can pull up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I my family. You close enough that I can see you, but you ain't got to be in my house with me.
Absolutely, I like that too. And that's
I,
exactly what.
but not living in my house with me.
Mhm.
No.
No, they lived actually. It was a big. It was one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 bedroom, one, two, three full bathrooms up top, and then two full bathrooms at the bottom. And so
That
I was just like, what it was. I said, why? I said, why'd you buy this house? Because she was like, I had 7 kids. She had them in pairs. She
mm,
said I had 3 kids back to back with my husband. Then we took a 5 year break. Then one day he sat me down and I thought something was wrong. He was like, "Can we have more?" And I didn't have a reason to tell him no.
mm,
She's like, I honestly didn't have a reason to tell him no. Like not wanting more kids, y'all, in her opinion, was not a reason to tell him no.
I,
Especially because she was like, I didn't have to work. This man owned about 5 businesses. All he asked was for more kids. I said, let's do it. And so I had 4 more kids. And then I was like, are we good? He's like, we're good. But she is like, didn't have to work. He owned about 5 businesses. He bought me this big house. He bought me the house. He bought me the apartment complex across there. So we have wealth. And he got me a convenience. So I didn't. So when he asked for more kids, I was like, oh, okay. And so she did have her kids since that. So she's like the oldest three, no, 2 lived with her. The one, he lived somewhere else. The other one had the oldest 2 had tragic stories. I'm like, God dang. Now, if I knew Tiffany and knew y'all now, Tiffany was where she was at then, because I would have said, you need to get with Tiffany Montgomery because this shouldn't be happening. This is not normal. And I think that's Tiffany's whole message. This isn't normal. Kevin Ewing, Reverend James Sullivan. This is not normal.
right.
And
No,
so, go ahead.
I get it. If I can live that way with my kids and their families, I would have a compound, and they can
Mm-hmm.
cannot live in the same house with me, but they can live in my compound. My dad can
Yes,
visit, and I take them back to their house on their compound. They can live on the compound.
absolutely.
I,
She said, because I was like, "Are you for your sons living with their wives?" She said, "Yes, my sons can live with their wives in my home, no problem. They just can't live with their girlfriends in my
that's
home."
another
She,
issue.
she said they can live with their wives all they want. My daughters can live with their husbands until Jesus comes back. But they ain't living with their boyfriends. Like, I ain't raised them like that. I got married. You can get married too.
That's my motto. They can that we had that conversation. But yes, that's how I would on a compound with all my kids. Yeah, I would.
I'm the same way too. So let me ask you this, like, because you're a veteran parent, you're a you're a veteran. You've been in the trenches. You know, you've gotten your Purple Heart and all that stuff. What advice would you give parents on how to maintain a strong and supportive relationship with their adult children, especially when they start their own families and careers?
I would. Okay, so this is the thing I did. I knew my children. I knew my children when they were young. I knew what they were capable of. I even to this day, I knew what they were capable of. I knew them. Nobody could dissuade me. No teacher, no principal. I'll tell you the story one day about my son and the principal. He had a principal. No one could dissuade me about my children. I knew my children. So for all the parents out there who have young children, this is how you're going to navigate this. Know your children inside out. You carry them. Hey, Erica.
Hey, Erica.
You know your children. Know your, when I say know your children, I'm talking about you carry them for 9 months. Be thoroughly convinced of who God said your children are. Right now, this is before I knew Christ. This is before Christ, but I knew my sons, and I knew that what people were telling me about my sons wasn't like their behavior. They were was a fact. There's a difference between fact and truth,
True.
or fact that they were misbehaving in school. But I also knew for a truth that that was not who they were.
Facts.
Right. So I
Yes.
knew my children in truth. Why is that important? Because people will always dissuade you. And my golden rule in my house was, I will always defend you until I cannot defend you. So if anybody came to me and said anything to me about you, I would defend you until I could not defend you. In other words, if you lied to me, and like if you came and told me the truth about something and something happened and I needed to defend you, I would defend you because I know I had the truth. But if you told me a lie and I found out it was a lie from the other person, then you have lost my defense and I'm going to side with them. That has been my standard. All my kids will attest to that. I will go ham and hard for them. That's the second thing you're going to have to do. In a world where children voices are always silenced, you have to be the parent that goes hard for your child. You cannot let anyone else dissuade you about who your child is. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that is your child. You have to come to extreme defense, because what that does is, my light just went out. What that does is,
You're still beautiful.
thank you. What that does is it tells the child that they have no defense. You are their first line of defense, right? If you go up in the school and your kid is acting up and you believe the teacher over your child, I believe my child over any teacher, because I've had an incident where a teacher lied on my son, and I went, honey, I almost burned the school down.
Amen.
But
Amen. Amen. The Bible says Elijah rained down fire.
I,
So,
I get, because I told her she was a liar and shut up. I don't want to hear from you anymore. I was gonna burn, and then I remember the vice principal said, that's okay. She gonna always defend that child. I said, and like I'm not supposed to. Like you made it seem like I'm not supposed to defend my kid. You out your rabbit mind. But honey, child, they knew me from that day forward, and they never messed with my kid again. I,
mm,
I was gonna burn that school down. Do you hear me? So, and God had told me she lied. That was the second thing. God told me she lied. So you have to know your child, and you have to know who God made your child to be. And you have to be ready to stand 10 tones down and let your child know that they will always be protected by you against any school system, anything that's going on in their lives, that you will stand 10 toes down for them. Now, when they get that, when I still that in them, that was then how I they became adults. That's how they knew that they could go out here and do things and live life, because they were had a sense of security that their mother cared for them, and that their mother was 10 toes down for them. That was the one. That was the first lesson I learned. What was the question? Second lesson I learned.
Which it was how do you handle situations where your adult children make life choices?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry. That was not the question. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Oh no.
My
Oh,
advice.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. What advice would you give parents on how to maintain a strong support relationship with their adult children? Which is what you did. You set that foundation, Serene. You basically told him, "Hi, Thomas." You basically told him that situation where it's like, "How I defend you, I expect you to defend your child that way." Facts and truth. Facts is, "Hey, Benita." Facts is, are they acting out? Are they acting this a certain type of way? Yes,
Right.
but truth is, I still know my child, and I still know that I still require excellence of my child. So that type of behavior is a language. I'm a Spanish speaker, y'all. I'm a French speaker. I'm a Dutch speaker. I know languages. I'm an ASL speaker.
Right.
I'm an English speaker, so I know languages. That behavior is a language. What is my child trying to communicate? And that's how, as a teacher, I always looked at it. Once I learned languages, a child was acting this way, I was like, I'm gonna make up. I know this girl off the top of my head because she imprinted in me. I'm gonna say, Birdie. That's what I'm gonna call her. Birdie, what are you trying to communicate? Like I will be asking. I will see how she is. She's like, oh, okay. Once you figure out why she communicate, she snapped back and she became the perfect model student again.
That's what I'm saying. That's, you have to know your children, not based on what the teachers tell them, because especially mothers, because we carry these babies in our womb and we nurture them from the womb. So it's best that you know um your child.
And I give that to women. I do not want that. I'm so glad God didn't make me a seahorse as a man because they are the only men that carry. Um, I do not want that. That is not my ministry. When I told people, why would you? I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't wish that on like y'all giving birth. It looks it looks
It
painful.
is.
The experience is painful. Like I'm talking like I'm just looking at how I see someone be like, oh, I enjoy being pregnant does not look fun.
No, being
It,
pregnant, it depends on the pregnancy you have. I enjoyed being pregnant. I did not enjoy giving birth.
like I've seen people who have done that too, where they've had like 50-50. I've seen women say, I enjoyed the pregnancy. I had one vice principal, it was her first child. She looked miserable.
She probably was.
She looked every single day. She looked like, can this please hurry up?
Yeah,
Like
because you
she,
carry
she,
life, a whole extra 20 pounds on your back.
yeah, she was so miserable. But then she did say, I did tell my baby, she is like, I was talking to my baby one day and said, I know I told you to hurry up, but you actually have to wait after testing. Once testing, because she was the vice principal, once testing is over, then you can come. And seriously, once testing was over, she gave birth. Because you told her baby, I need you to wait
I just
at least until testing.
stay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I said I can't. She's like, I have to be at work. I'll just take you with me. And then I had one friend. I had one other. She was my mentor teacher. Who ended up becoming one of my closest friends. She enjoyed it. But I think the difference with her, and I told her this. I said, B, the reason why I think you were able to enjoy it is because you gained the weight with it. She stayed skinny and had an extra 20, 30 pounds. Your body was able to carry it. And she was like, I think so too. She was like, I think getting bigger actually did help because my body adjusted with it. I got bigger with it.
Right.
And it wasn't bad. She's like, I was able to come. I was able to still teach first graders how to be like, she's like, it was good though. And I was like, that's the reason why. She's like, I think that does play a part. She's like, now that you think about it, I think weight gain does play a part if you enjoy it or not. Because she was like, I'm bigger. I'm enjoying it. She's skinny with this big stomach and is hating life right now. And
Mhm.
it's miserable.
That's part of it. That's part of
Yeah, and the second part of that question was, y'all, this is me and my cousin. We go on tangents. Y'all gonna have to bear with us. This is how we are privately. You're getting access to a private conversation, really.
it. Yeah.
Um, what advice would you give the same parents that I'm sorry, you basically answered that when they start their own families and their own careers. You basically answered that. Kids advocate, and I do like when parents are advocating for their kids. Like I like when parents. As a teacher, I had to check myself because when a mom advocated for her son, I felt some type of way. She's like, "Don't do this, don't do that." I said, "You know what? As a parent, I would be the exact same way." So I let her do it. But then somebody came and told me and said, if you get to the mom first before the kid, she'll be on your side in the sense of, oh, wait, my son will never do that behavior ever again. And I took that with me when I start teaching elementary school kids. And I let them know, I will call your parents. Actually, matter of fact, I'll have you call your